What's going on? What's going on? So Culbert had his little fight last night. Not really what I want to talk about, but I'll just talk about it for a second though. He did his thing. Came out victorious, obviously. For whatever reason, I guess in his mindset, he was thinking that because the guy was coming from a lower weight class, that he was going to be able to, I guess, completely dominate him and stop him. So I think that's what he was really looking for, was for the knockout in that particular fight. But I guess after fighting, he's understood, how strong this guy really is. And he understood why, at that particular point, Gary Russell Jr. was the only one to have, to have beat that man, So, but he did, do what he needed to do. It came out victorious, so salute out to him. And we'll see, what happens with him as his career progresses. But the main thing I wanted to talk about was the fact that, a couple of days ago, he did an interview, and he had a lot of choice comments to say about both Deontay Wilder and about Earl Spence. Just kind of saying basically that Wilder's basically kind of like a sore loser, I guess. Talking about how he's gonna do whatever he needs to necessarily to win. He doesn't see that Wilder's gonna have any kind of chance. I guess he believes, in the next fight, he believes that, Tyson Fury is going to become victorious when it comes to that. And he's not really trying to hear anything as it pertains to the allegations, that were put out there. And as far as Earl Spence, coming out of his own mouth, hey, he always roots against Spence. That's just why that is. Somehow people don't see that as hating. They want to not see it as, I don't see how you can see it any other way than somebody hating on somebody if you're just consistently on a regular basis just going against this man when you know how good he is. You've seen his track record. He picked Algeria to beat this man, so that's just weird to me. But to each his own. And some people are saying that everybody has a right to the opinion. These are his opinions, and that should be it. And you know what? People are right. Exactly, absolutely, 100%. You do have a right to your opinion, and you can, you should have the right to say whatever you want, as it pertains to that. That's very, very true. But at the same time, people also have the right to their opinions, so people have the right to, to come back at you, in the ways that they want, They have the right to do that because people kind of like, why is everybody getting on this kid? Why is everybody just time? Because, those who are Wilder fans, those who are Spence fans, they're just coming at this kid hard as hell. And I mean hard, And, if you quote, want to make comments, you have to be willing to take this. Let's take a Deontay Wilder, for instance. Deontay Wilder has a lot of viewpoints on a lot of different things. Some people aren't trying to hear that. They're not trying to hear about the plights of others or the things other people go through. They're not trying to hear all of that. They're not trying to hear anything about, what he believes happened in a particular fight with Tyson Fury. They're not trying to hear none of that. Some people aren't trying to hear any of that. It's kind of like, yo, just shut up. We're not trying to hear it. And you could find channels all day long. Video after 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 video daily that trash him because of his viewpoints and because of the things that he said daily, and if he's gonna have the viewpoints that he has and he's gonna put them out there, that's what's to be expected. That's going to happen, and he's been dealing with it, and he's been taking it like a champion. So if he's able to do that, spare me with the whole we need to baby others. Okay, this guy gets ridiculed more than anybody else in the sport since Floyd Mayweather Jr., and it's not even close. So spare me the BS. If you're gonna pump your chest out and you're gonna want to put your quote viewpoints out, okay, then you're gonna have to take on the not only the positivities, I guess you could say, but the negativities that come with it, just like Deontay Wilder does, period. And there's also what makes it weird to me when people started this rumor that Wilder was the reason why the video was taken down. It's the most moronic, most asinine thing you can say, just due to the fact that it's like, okay, It's like, let's say a guy's just getting hit with spears all day, these giant spears, boom, 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 all day, just getting spears thrown at him, shoot, going right through him, bam, 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 bam. He's not complaining, he's not saying anything. And somebody takes a little bit of this little needle and pricks him. And everybody starts screaming, oh, he's complaining about that little needle that pricked him. He's not complaining about the little needle that pricked him. That's basically what you're saying. You got these major channels, these huge channels. They get thousands, tens of thousands of views who talk negatively about this man on a daily basis. On a daily basis. He's never tried to take any of their videos down. But now all of a sudden, this small fighter who's not that big in the sport, who's not really looked at that, that much, all of a sudden he wants that person's video taken down. It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. None. Zero. Absolutely none. And why would that video be taken down? It wouldn't be because of Deontay Wilder. The video would be taken down because of, I guess, Culbert admitted that he's the one who had the video taken down. But regardless, let's not even put him into a situation like that for a second. Why would you take that video down? Who would initiate that be taken down? Who does it benefit for him to do so? You have to understand, Earl Spence's fan base, Deontay Wilder's fan base, these are the same people that Culbert is gonna want to get on his side. This is the pot that he's pulling from. He's pulling from the same pot. That group of fans are the ones that are gonna go to his fights. That group of fans are the ones that are gonna buy his pay-per-views. That group of fans are the ones that are gonna watch his shows. And then as he progresses and he gets bigger, these are the people that you might want to be on the undercards when they have big fights. So you coming at these particular people in such a negative light, especially with you being on PBC, all you're doing is hurting yourself. All you're doing is, making things more difficult for you, even as you progress, as you grow as a fighter. Because this is the pot that you're pulling for. Look at somebody like a Sean Porter. Sean Porter used to always be able to pack the house. He had this hardcore fan base. He used to always be there. He has a bout, people are there. Doesn't matter who it is, people are there. Always there. Then he got into this thing where it's like he didn't want to fight after the Danny Garcia fight, he wasn't gonna fight Earl Spence. After telling the fans that he was gonna fight him, then he decided, now I'm not gonna fight him. I'm gonna go fight Ugas instead. And all the fans turned on him because of that. Again, you're pulling from the same pot. And these fans that are in that same pot decided, you know what? F Sean Porter, yo. We're not riding with him with this one. He goes and fights Ugas in Las Vegas, where he lives, and there was like 10 people at the show. And it's a good fight, like you're fighting Ugas. This is a tough fight. Ugas is a hard fight for anybody. It's not an easy fight. And we know that, how, the fanfare that, that Sean Porter brings to fights. People didn't go. And it was all because the fans, these hardcore fans, turned their backs on him because of what he did. Until obviously then he fought, what's his name again? Fought Earl Spence, in this next fight, and everything was all good. But you don't, see somebody like a Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford pulls from the same fan base as well. Same exact fan base. But he can't do the pay-per-views that Earl Spence does. He can't do those pay-per-views. He can't pull in the gates that Earl Spence pulls in. And the reason why he can't do that is because, he's not bringing in the fights that these particular fans want to see. And they've decided that they're not going to vest their funds into his fights. They're not going to purchase any pay-per-views from him. They're not going to, they're not going to go to, people still go to his bouts. They still go to his bouts. But he can't charge us the price that Earl Spence charges, And he's not getting the numbers that Earl Spence gets because he's not putting out the fights that that these particular fan base wants to see, and his viewership and everything continues to regress because of that. Consistently continue to regress, because that particular fan base has decided, now we're not effing with what you're doing right now. So when it comes, and people can say what they want, especially when it comes to that particular fan base. There are buys that will buy that, 350,000 no matter who Tank fights. That'll buy 350,000 no matter who Errol Spence fights. That'll buy 300 for, as long as they're fighting the people that we want to see, and they'll pay 350,000 plus what will purchase to see whoever Deontay Wilder fights, you get on on the wrong side of that fan base, they will turn their back on you, and it's gonna hurt you as a fighter. And PBC is gonna understand that. Culbert's people are gonna understand that. That's why Danny in that particular in that interview was saying, whoa, chill, because he understood the ramifications of what this man was doing. You saw even Charlo had to come back and switch up what he had said, because he understood what that fan base now was feeling with with some of the things that he had said, or they assumed that he meant, in the interview that he did. So the person that has the most benefit is Culbert, and his people are going to tell him that. All the people that are involved in his career and progressing him are going to let him know, like, yo, this is not the way to go. You're putting yourself into a bad space, by doing what you're doing, into a real bad space. And they're going to, I'm sure they let him know, you need to take that down. You need to be smarter with the way you move, or you're going to hurt your career. And you're going to hurt the space that you're trying to get into. Because all these other people that might praise, and yeah, with their comments just because they want to quote cheer you on, they're still not part of that pot that's gonna put those funds into your pocket. They're still not part of that pot that's gonna, that's actually gonna, come to your events and support you. And his people understand it. So it was just weird to me. It was kind of weird, and it was kind of moronic. The fact that there was really this huge thing of, Wilder, he's the one, he had this video taken down. Out of all the videos, out of all the things that have been said about this man for all these years, that's the one? But hey, it is what it is. Like, subscribe, share, I'm out.